Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be tackling or looking at our first SQL project, all right, on this channel. And now we are doing this because as we are about beginning our SQL series, I'd like you to have a sneak peek on what SQL is all about, how you can use SQL, all right, and why SQL is important, okay. And the best way to do that, I believe, is by starting with the project, and then once you get the idea, you can follow it up with weekly, tutorials on some of the things that will be important for you to understand, right, as time goes on.
It's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing. Nothing now. It's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe till you've understood.
So in this video, we have these short questions, right, business related questions that we are supposed to be looking at and helping management to answer, all right. So I'll be showing you what the entire data set is all about, all right. I'll show you how to get the entire data set, and we are going to look at the entire data set, all right, where we are picking these questions from, okay. And so the questions, now before we even move on to the question, let me just show you the entire data set, all right, so that you don't get confused, all right. So this data set is called spot products, or rather Amazon, all right. So Amazon sales data set, all right. Now with SQL or SSMS, which is SQL Server Management Studio, what you want to do is that you want to highlight the table, all right. So the table name, and then you are going to execute. But in this particular case, don't worry, let me just connect it first, right. All right. And even after connector, I'm going to say that it's showing invalid object name sports product, and that is because before we can pull the data from the database, all right. So if you remember my series on my video on database and importation of data set, I talked about this, all right. And so before we can get the table, all right, you need to have created the database for the table. And so I already created the database. If you come here, you're going to see right here that I have my database, which is called Amazon. All right, so this is my database, my Amazon database, all right. And in my Amazon database, you'll find my table, which is the sports product, okay. So yeah, so in my Amazon database, you're going to find the table name, which is the sports product, all right. And so this is the table, the sports product. This is the table that we are looking to pull information from, all right. And so to do this, it's essential that we set our everything to the right database, okay. And so if you come right up here on top, you can see that the database name is currently on at masters, and since it's at masters, you can't really pull this table from it because the table is stored in Amazon database, not in the master database, all right. And so the first thing that you need to do is you need to go in there and then change the database name to the database name that you've given to the table, all right, the database name you've given to the table. And in this particular case, our database name is Amazon, all right. So I'm going to change the database name from masters to Amazon, all right. And now I can go and select and execute so that I can get my table, all right. So as you can see right there, okay, so now I have my table. And like I was saying, if you haven't checked out my video on databases and how to import data, be sure to look at that and check that out, all right, because I go in depth, all right, on what this thing that I just did is all about, all right. But since it's the first project, I just need to go through a little bit and then give you an idea of what is going on, so that if you are trying it and it's giving you problems, you know where to go to and what to do, all right. And so now that we've gotten our database, our data, all right, kindly give me a minute, let me bring this right here. All right, good. So now this is the table, all right. So this is what is in this table. Now this is I think a CSV file or probably an Excel file. I'll leave that in the description box below, and you can follow by either a CSV or an Excel file. I also have a video on how to pull these data source files, all right. There's a different way to pull a CSV file into SSMS, and there's also a different way to pull an Excel file into SSMS, and I have videos on that already. You can check that out as well, so that if the file happens to be a CSV file, you know how to pull the data, all right, or the file into SSMS. And if it happens to be an Excel source, you also know or have an idea on how to pull the data, all right. So now that I have my data in here, so this is my entire data set, all right. This is the information in my data set, all right. And in this video, as you can see here, it says in today's video we shall be tackling this amazing project by answering these amazing questions. And so let's assume that we are sitting in as data analysts, all right, for Amazon, all right. And now Amazon is looking to understand its data set, all right. It's looking to understand its data set, this particular data set, all right. And in this data set, we have retailers, we have retailer ID, region, state, city, product, price per unit, unit sold, total sales, and we have operating profit, the margin, all right. We have sales method, and then we have the invoice date. Okay, so we are given this entire information, all right, in our data set, all right. And so they wanted to know the total sales that was generated across all retailers in this particular data set. Alright, so we are going to be looking at the total sales that were generated across all retailers. Alright, so these are the retailers and the total sales that were generated across all of them. Then we are also going to be looking at how many units were sold, how many units sold were recorded. Alright, for each product. Alright, so for each product, how many units sold were recorded. We are going to be looking at which retailer generated the highest total sales. We are looking at the top one retailer with the highest total sales. Alright, and we are going to look at the average price per unit for each product. We're also going to look at how many sales transactions occurred in each region, all right, and then what is the total sales amount by sales method. So this is the sales method, so you can see the sales method right there, and then which still has the highest number of transactions as well. Then we move on to the total operating profit that was generated, all right, and now we can finally look at which stage generates the highest profit operating profit, all right. And so in this project, this is what we are going to be looking at, and I'll be taking you through a step-by-step process on how we can do this, all right, and how we can retrieve these information, all right. And probably you'll probably just be putting in a few CTEs. I don't know if there's going to be necessary, all right, because I have plans of just answering the questions, all right, right after the actual question, all right, so the solution after the question, okay, so that you can see the solution to the above question, all right. And so if you are ready, let's jump in and get started. Okay, so the first question we states that we should find the total sales generated across all retailers. So this is a typical example of aggregations, right, or the aggregation functions in SQL, right. So we are going to be looking at the total sales, which is also the same as the sum of sales generated across all retailers. So what we are going to do is we are going to be using the select statement, and then we are going to be pulling out the columns that this question is looking for. So the question is looking at retailers and then the total sales. Okay, and so in view of this, we are going to go and say, all right, so the select statement, you don't know what the select statement is. The select statement helps you to pull information that we are looking for. Alright, let's to pull all of the information that we are looking for. Alright, and in this scenario, it's looking for information for all retailers alongside their total sales. Okay, so it's going to be select. I'm going to say so retailers, like so. So these are the retailers. Okay, so we are going to say select retailers. All right, so retailer, so it should be exactly the same spelling. All right, and since it's an aggregation, we are looking for the sum, that is the total. We are going to use sum. This is going to be the function of total sales. All right, so this is total sales. Now you see how this is spelled. Okay, if I'm to spell it exactly the same way, total sales, like so. All right, from the table name. Okay, and what is the table name? The table name is sports product. Okay, so it's actually not even going to show. Okay, normally once you start typing it, it should give you the table name, but there's an error here, and this is an error. Total sales, and it's not because you haven't spelled it right, or because this is not in a column. This column is not part of the data set. It's simply because of how SQL is reading it. Okay, and this total sales is supposed to be one word, supposed to be this total sales as a column. But if you spell it like so with a space, SQL is going to be looking at it as two different columns. Okay, so what you can do in this scenario, in cases like this, where you have your columns spelled out with spaces, you can just put them in this bracket. All right, sorry, you can put them in brackets like so. All right, like this. Okay, so these brackets. All right, okay, then now you can continue to spot, and now you can see it's working. All right, like so, and that should be done. All right, so select retail like this, and we are summing the total sales. We are summing the total sales this, all right, from this. Okay, and now what we can do from here is we can simply come here and say, because we are looking for the total sales across retailers, now we need to group by retailers. All right, we need to group the results by retailers. All right, if you just highlight this and try executing this, it's not going to work. It's going to tell you that column sports product retailer is invalid in the select list because it is not containing either an aggregate function, all right, an either aggregate function or the group by clause, and it's simply because it's not in the group by clause. All right. So what we are going to do is that we are going to come down here. Now I have a video also on group by that will be coming out shortly. Okay, so you can just check that out. All right. So I'm going to say group by retailer like so. All right. And now if I'm to execute this, highlight and execute, now you're going to see it's giving me retailer. So these are the retailer names, all right, and these are their total sales. Okay, so the total sales across retailers. Now you can see how this is just showing no column name, and that is because we need to inculcate or do something using alias. We need to use a function called aliasing. Now aliasing helps you to represent a column with a column name, all right, so you can give a column name. Do you understand? And so in this is the total sales, and we have the sum of total sales. So you can simply just say, all right, so for this particular column, we want to call it as total total sales, like so. So that now if I'm to highlight this and execute this, you are going to see that now I have my total sales. And this is simply what we call aliasing. Alright, it's simply what we call aliasing. I also have an in-depth video on what aliasing is all about, and that should also be coming out shortly. Okay, so we've looked at aliasing and group by even in this short in just this one query. Alright, or one we've looked at aliasing, we've looked at group by, we looked at aggregate function like sum and the select statement. And so this is how you can write this query in order to get the information that we are looking for. All right, so we are looking for the total sales across all retailers, and we are using the select the retailer, sum the total sales as total sales from this is the table name. All right, so this is our table name, this is the table name, all right, where we are getting all of our information from. Okay, like so. And now we are grouping by retailer, because if we do not group by, it's going to tell us to go back and then group by it. All right, okay. So now let's move on to the second question, which is how many units sold were recorded for each product. All right, so how many units sold? All right, so let me just go back to my entire table like so, and we are looking at the units sold. We are looking at this column. All right, so now we want to calculate, we want to find the total units sold that was recorded for each of these products. All right, so the total is for each of these products, and this is something similar to the first question, and so let's go in and check that out. All right, so I'm going to say, all right, so I'm selecting for product. So because it's product, I'm selecting product. All right, for this particular column. All right, and I'm going to say we are looking for how many units sold were recorded. All right, so I want to find the total units so that's recorded for each product. Okay, so again I can use the sum like so, and as you can see, this is units sold with a space. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to say units sold. Kindly excuse me, that's my nephew playing, so kind of forgive me for that. I have no ways of stopping him from doing that. He's still a kid. All right, so product terminate sold, and again I can alias this particular result. All right, and say as units sold. Okay, and I'm going to say from spot like so. And now once we are done with this, because we are looking for the totals by this column, we need to go and use our group by to group the total units sold by the product. All right, so we are going to group the total units sold by the product. I'm going to come down, I'm going to use again the group by clause, and I'm going to say we are grouping by product, which is this column. All right, okay. So now if I'm to highlight all of this and execute, this is it. We are going to get our total units sold by our products. All right, our total units sold by our product, and it's as simple as that. Now let's move on to the third question, which is this. All right, so let me do this like so, like so. All right, so the third question now is a little different from the first two. All right, in the sense that now this is looking at which retailer generated the highest total sales. Now this one gives us all retailers by their total sales. All right, so this gives us all retailers by their total sales, but this one is asking us to find just the one retailer with the highest total sales. All right, just the retailer with the highest total sales. Okay, and so in view of this, again, you can probably just use this and then try to count the numbers to tell your boss that, boss, I think this one's only small, so this one had it. But you can make it simple, all right, and more professional. All right, just to let your boss know that you indeed know what you are doing. And so in view of this, we are going to be using a different formula, and we are going to be using something we call the top end. All right, the top end. Now we can use the top end and the bottom end, but we are going to be using the top end. And then for that, we are going to employ the service of the order by clause. All right, the order by clause in our statement. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, we are still looking at the retailer with the highest total sales. But in this case, I'm going to say select, because we are looking for the retailer, that is the top one retailer. All right, we are looking for the retailer with the highest total sales. So the top one retailer with the highest total sales. All right, if we're just looking for the highest total sales, just the highest total sales, we would use something called the max. So it would have been, if we're just looking for the totals, it would have been select max. All right, and we are going to say total sales, like so, from spot. Right, so if we're just looking for the maximum total sales, right, was going to be something like so, would have been something like this. So this is going to be the maximum total sales. All right, so this is the maximum total sales across all the sales. Okay, but in this case, we are not looking for the maximum total sales, we are looking for the retailer with the highest total sales. Okay, and so for this, what we are going to do is we are going to be the top one, and I'm going to say the top one retailer. All right, so I said the top one retailer, the highest retailer, and I'm going to use the sum because we want the summation of all the total sales. All right, so the sum of all the total sales and then the one that brought in the highest total sales. Okay, so sum, we are going to say total sales, like so. All right, from spots, like so. Right, and now you will be tempted to just come down here and say group by retailer, and it's going to be grouped by retailer, not grouped by top one retailer. It's going to be grouped by retailer. Okay, and then you're going to be tempted to just do this. All right, and this is probably correct. All right, this is probably correct, but hello, I'm Meshak here, and still in the course of the video, just wanted to take a minute and to let you know that if you're a small business owner or someone trying to break into data analytics, hey, you should know that I can help you move faster without confusion. Over here, I offer one-on-one data analytics coaching where I teach you podcast skills in Power BI, SQL, Excel, Python, alright, and business insights tailored to your goals. Whether it's for improving decisions or landing a role, you are at the right place. I also need you to know that I've also created a Power BI beginner ebook that breaks everything down step by step, no jargon, no overwhelming. And so if you are ready to actually understand data and use it with confidence, I'll ask you to check the links right below. I've attached it to my video. Alright, and you can see, so this is my one-on-one coaching where you can book a coaching session with me, and you can get to ask me questions directly, and I can help you to solve any problem that you are looking to solve when it comes to data analytics. You can also find my ebook here, right? And so if there is something that you like, you can simply go in and then you can purchase it, and it's quite affordable, so you can just go in and purchase it, and trust me that you are going to get the value that you are looking for as you buy this. All right, so without much ado, I digress. Let's move back to the video. Alright, but the right way to do this is after grouping by, you need to come down and order by your total sales. Alright, and we have something we call ascending or descending. Okay, and so if you are ordering by, it normally goes with ascending and descending. Now, by default, if you use the order by clause, it's going to record it by ascending order. All right, by default, if you use the order by clause, it's going to sort it out by ascending order. So now you can see that even though if you select top one, all right, this is probably the highest. But if you are to use the order by clause, if you have to now use order by, and because we've not alias this, I'm going to take all of this, or rather, in order to not confuse you, let's alias this, and I'm going to say as total sales, right, as total sales, so that now I can rather use this. All right, so we are ordering by the total sales. Okay, and the total sales is simply the sum of the total sales. Okay, So if I'm to now do this, right, like total sales, okay, and execute this, now you realize that now the retailer is no more Walmart, it's no more Westgear or Westgear, but it's now Walmart. Now Walmart, if you ask me, should be the least, or the retailer with the least amount of money. All right. If I'm to come here, so Walmart in essence should actually be the retailer with the least amount of money if you actually go through and then check everything one by one. Okay. And when we come here and we use this, the select top one retailer statement, right, or clause, we are going to realize that it's rather giving us Walmart instead of Westgear. All right, and this is simply because we've used the order by clause, and the order by clause is going to sort it out in ascending order. In the ascending order, as we know, it means from the lowest to the highest. All right, and so he's sorting this statement out. Even though we are looking at the top one, it's actually sorting it out from the lowest. And so this select top one retailer, in essence, because we are using ascending order, now becomes the least, all right, or the lowest retailer with or the retailer with the lowest total sales. All right, so this in essence again becomes the bottom retailer with the lowest total sales. All right, instead of the highest retailer with total sales, it becomes the lowest retailer with total sales because of the order by clause, and we've just left it as so. Is I'm sorting it out as ascending order. That's from the lowest to the highest. And so if you want the right thing, all right, if you want to actually find the retailer with the highest total sales, then we need to let SQL know that we want to order by in descending order. And the descending order tells us that it's from the highest down to the lowest. All right. So now we are ordering from the highest to the lowest. And that is what we want. We run from the highest, all right, to the retailer with the highest amount, and then that is what we are looking for, down to the lowest. Okay, and we are just looking for the top one, and the top one in this case represents the highest total amount by retailer. Okay, and so now if I'm to execute this, then you're going to see we have risk here. All right. Now the reason why we are using the order by clause is that if you are fond of just leaving, if you are looking for the top three, top four, top two, whatever, and then you just leave it at goodbye, if you are not careful, it might make your work um very bad and wrong. All right. It might make your work wrong, and so it's essential that you use your order by if you are looking for the top end activities or results. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to the fourth question. And what is the fourth question? So the fourth question is simply like so. So the fourth question is simply asking us for the average price per unit for each product. All right. So we are looking at the average total price per each product. Okay. So let's execute this so that you can see. So this is our data. So we are looking at the average price per unit, all right? So per unit, so average price per unit for each product, all right? For each product, okay? And so again, similar to the sum function, we are going to be using the average function, all right? We are going to be using the average function. And so I'm simply going to say now, if you're familiar with the sum function, this should be easy, right? So we are simply going to say average. Now you see me typing average and it's not working, all right? It's not working. So what it simply means is that for average, instead of typing average, you are going to type AVG. Now AVG represents average in SQL, especially SSMS. All right, that's SQL Server Management Studio. So we are going to say, so if you see select AVG, simply select average. All right, so we are selecting the average of the price per unit. Okay, and again there are spaces in between the columns. So I'm going to open this. Now I'm going to say price per unit. All right. And I'm going to close it, and I'm going to call this price per unit. I'm going to call it this, all right, from sports, like so. All right, and so now, all right, so I'll call this price per unit, like so. Okay, and now I can just highlight all of this and execute this. All right, but it says for each product. All right, so don't forget that we are supposed to group by product. Okay, and so for that I'm going to come right there and I'm going to give this product another column product. All right, because we are looking at the average price per unit for each product. Okay, so I'm now going to say select product. All right, average all of this from that. Okay, and now that we've added a column, all right, we need to group by, and we are going to group by product. All right, now if you want to spice it up, you can even spice it up by ordering by, all right, by ordering by the price per unit, which is the average. All right, so you are ordering by the price, all right, price per unit. Okay, and we are ordering by in ascending order, DESC. All right, so then now we are going to see the products and their average price, but we are going to see from the highest down to the lowest. Okay, like so. All right, like so. So you can see that the average price for women's apparel is the highest, all right, at $51, followed by men's apparel at $50, followed by men's street footwear at $44, and so on and so forth. Now if we were to take this out, all right, if we were to take this out, what is simply going to happen is that now it's simply going to arrange them anyhow it wants. All right, so you are going to see the price per unit is arranged not in any order but just occurring just like that. All right, so we have 50, then 51, then we have 40, then we have 43, 41. So you just going to arrange them like that. But if you want to have it, in a structured way, then we are supposed to just add the order by clause so that we can structure it properly, so that we know from the highest down all the way to the lowest. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. What's the next question? So the next question is asking us to find the sales transactions that occurred in each region. Okay, so let's go right back up here. So now I would like to copy this. Okay, all right, I like to copy this and bring it down a little bit to here. All right, so I'm going to bring it here so that we don't have to go up and down anymore. Okay, so now we are looking at how many sales transactions occurred in each region. All right, so we are looking for the sales transactions. So we are going to look at everything, right? Everything. So the entire rows, all right, the entire rows. So we have the retail IDs. We are looking for the entire rows across each region. All right. So how many sales transactions? Okay. So what we can simply do is, in this essence, we are not going to use sum, all right, because we are looking for how many sales transactions, so the count of transactions that occurred, all right, so the count of transactions that occurred in this region. So in this case, we are going to use select count, all right, transactions. So I'm going to say select all transactions, like so, all right. But before that, because we are looking for each region, I'm going to say, now I want to check something out, all right. Select region, count all from spot, like so, and I'm going to say group by region, like so. All right, now let's highlight all of this and execute. All right, so we have everything. Okay, we have everything. Now what I want to check is, I want to check the number of transactions that we have in this particular data set. All right, and then we can see something. All right, so I'm going to say select all, select count all from spot, just to confirm the count. All right, just to confirm the count, so we can just select all right, and then see the total records that we have. So we have 9,644 records. All right, so 9,644 records. So this simply means that if I'm to highlight all of this, I should see 9644 records. All right, and if you come here, you can see that right here, you can see the rules. So the rules is showing as 9644 rules. All right, that means in fact our count is correct. It means that is indeed the total number of records or transactions that we have in this data set. All right, and so from there, now we can go ahead and select our region. We are counting everything, we are grouping by region, because the question wants to know the sales transaction that occurred in each region. All right, and like so, if you want, again, you can use the order by clause. All right, if you want to rank them, all right, properly, you are going to say order by count all, because count all, we've not given this an alias here. So we are saying count all right, and again I'm going to say DES. If you leave it as it is, it's going to sort them out in ascending order. All right, and so by DESC, descending order, we can say that so the western region, all right, has has recorded more sales transactions, and then followed by the northeast region, and then the midwest region, and then the southern region, and then the southeast region. All right, and so you can explain this to management by telling management that, all right, so from the analysis that I made, I realized that most sales transactions occurred in the western region, and then followed by the northeast region, and then the midwest region, with southeast being the region with the least sales transactions occurring over there. Okay, all right. So now let's move on to the next one. So the next one, so let's go back to our table again. And so the next question is asking us to find the total sales amount by sales method. All right. And so this is our sales method. All right. So this is sales method. So I want to find the total sales by sales method. All right. And so this is similar to what we've done in the past. We've done over and over and over again in this project. Okay. So I'm simply going to say select. We are looking at sales method, and because there's a space, I'm going to do that by saying, all right. So select sales method like so. All right. So select sales method. We are looking at the sum of all of total sales like so. And then if you want to alias this, we can alias this as well as T sales, that's TS, okay, from spots. All right, and because you've added a column like so, don't forget to group by. All right, or else it's going to give you problems. All right, so we can group by sales method, and if you want to order by, you can go ahead and then order by TS. All right, this time now I don't want it from the highest to the lowest, but from the lowest to the highest, so I'm going to say TS ESC, or I'll just leave it as so. All right, and then I'm going to select all of this, and so, and now we are going to say that from the lowest down to the highest, online comes in, and then outlet, and then install. So install, let's see, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, this is 24 million, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, this is 29 million, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, this is 35 million. So indeed, so you see online is the one with the least total sales coming through, and then outlet, all right, sales method comes in as close second, and then install is so a lot of people prefer install purchases as compared to outlet and online store purchase. Okay, and so that was so easy. So let's move on to the next question. It said, which city has the highest number of transactions? All right, so again we are going to be looking at the top one. All right, we are going to be looking at the top one. So it said which city has the highest number of transactions. So we are looking at the count of transactions. All right, highest number of transactions. You are not going to be using the sum. All right, because you're looking for the highest number of transactions. So number of transactions, we can't sum the transactions. We need to count the transactions. So by the count of transactions. All right, and so when it's looking at which city, we have our cities right over here. Okay, and so we are going to go ahead, and I'm going to say, all right, so select city. All right, select city by asking us if which city has the highest number of transactions. So in view of this, I'm just going to say select top one city. All right, and I'm going to say count all transactions. All right, so count all from sports. All right, from sports, and I'm going to group by city. All right, I'm going to group by city, and I'm going to order by, we need the top one, don't forget. I'm going to order by count all and descending order, don't forget, because we are looking for the top one, not the bottom one, the top one. So we are going to order by this in descending order. All right, and this like so is going to give us Poland coming in as the city with the highest transactions. Okay, with the highest transactions, that is Poland. Okay, all right, so now let's see how it is. Let's go back. All right, like so. All right, and so the city, we have Portland. Shouldn't this have been country? So Portland, okay, Portland, sorry, not Poland, Portland. Okay, so Portland coming in as the top one city with the highest number of transactions, and that is at 300 and something, right? 36. So out of the 9,644 transactions, all right, Poland has 360 transactions from that lot amount. Okay, all right. So now we are moving on to the next question, which is the total operating profit generated, right? So let me just do this. I'm going to have to copy this again, right? And I'm going to bring it down here, like so that we don't go back again. So it says, what is the total operating profit generated? So where is that? So we have the total operating profit. So this is the total, the operating profit. So we want to find the total, the sum total of the operating profit that we generated for this particular period. Okay, we are looking for the total operating profit that we generated, and for this, because we are just looking for the total, all right, or the sum of the total profit generated, it's actually the easiest. We are simply going to say select the sum, all right, the sum, and we are looking at operating profit, right? Operating profit. Don't forget there's space in between. So let's do it well from spots, like so. All right. And now, all right, operating profit. And now if you are to highlight this and execute this operating profit, that means the spelling is wrong somewhere. So let me check. All right. So the profit is actually spelled. That is why it's important to check the spelling of your columns, right? So now we can highlight and execute this, and we are going to see this. So this is our total operating profit for the entire period, all right? Our total operating profit for the entire period. And so you can see right there, so our total operating profit, and this is a summation of that, all right? This is a summation of that, all right? All right, so now let's move on to the next question. And what is the next question? So the next question is asking us to find the total sales and profit by product and region. Alright, so now we are shifting and moving away from there's a one column aggregation stuff to two columns aggregation. Alright, so now it's asking us to find the total sales as well as the profit, alright, by product and region. And I need to keep in mind that it's still going to be the same as what we've been doing previously, alright. Just at this time around, we are adding one to the aggregations, alright, and to the normal columns, alright. So what do I mean by this? What I simply mean by this is that in the first instance where we're just looking at total, what the total sales amount by sales method is, now we are not just looking at the total sales amount, but we are looking at total sales amount, and we are looking at the profit, all right. And again, before we're just looking by the sales method, but in this case we are not looking at just the sales method, all right, but we are looking at two distinct things. We are looking at the product and then the region, but still a similar process, all right, still similar, all right. In fact, it's more or less like the same thing, so don't get confused, all right. So what we are simply going to do, we are still going to take it one by one, all right. So now I'm looking at the product and I'm looking at the region. So let's use our select statement. So I'm going to say select, all right, select product, right, select, or it can be select region and product, all right. So anyone at all is fine. So I'm going to say select region, all right, and I'm going to say select product, like so, all right. And so I've selected my region and my product, and I'm going to take what it says. I should look for it. I should find the total sales and then the profit. Okay, all right. So before that, let me just check something. So we are looking for total sales and we are looking for the operating profit. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is what we are simply going to do is we are going to simply say sum. All right. We are looking at the total sales. So total sales, like so, right? And we are going to call this TS, total sales. We are going to say comma, and now again it's asking us to look for the profit. All right. So we are going to go and again say sum of profit. All right. And this is also operating profit. Now the spelling for the profit over here is FT, not FIT. So keep that in mind. So FT, and I'm going to close this like so, and I'm going to call this OP, profit, operating profit. All right. And I'm going to take everything from spots. So that is our table name, like so. All right. Now once you are done with this, remember there are columns in the select statement, so you need to group by them. All right. And so in this case, you are not just going to group by one, you are going to group by both of them. So I'm going to say group by region and then the product, like so. And now if you are to select all of this and execute, now you see us getting our region, product, total sales, and operating profit for each and every one of them. Now what we can simply do is I just need to get everything scattered all around, all right? We can simply go in and I'm going to say, all right, I want to order by TS descending order and then OP descending order, like so. All right, so both of them in descending order. All right, so now you can see everything has been arranged properly. All right, now you can see everything has been arranged properly. So we have the region with the highest sales and operating profit, followed by the next region, and then the next region, and then the next region, all along with the products attached to it. Now there's a better way to do this, where we use a Windows function. We use a rank or desk rank or row number, but we haven't gotten there yet. All right, that is simply going to rank this, all right, according to the highest down to the lowest, or from the lowest all the way to the highest, based on how you rank them. All right, but this particular case, we are not ranking them we are not ranking them. All right, we are just finding information or the result for this particular query, and this right here is perfect. All right, and so this is how you can find the result for this as well. All right, now let's move on to, I believe, the final question for the day, and it says which state generates the highest operating profit. All right, so which state generates the highest operating profit? Now I would have loved to leave this and then get feedback from you guys in the comment section down below, but since that is not happening, I like to just finish it up. But hey, if you've been following along with me and you finally gotten to this particular point in the video, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. All right, and be sure to leave a comment down below if there's something that would like to ask me or like me to have looked at or to help you with. Just be sure to leave that in the comment section below. I'll look at it and I'll be sure to respond to you accordingly. All right, if I need to make a video, I'll be sure to do that just for you. And without much ado, I'll also ask you to, hey, kindly hit on the subscribe button so that you can join the Nakama. So when I upload any new video like this, again, you'll be one among the first to be notified. All right, and so let's jump right back in, I digress, and finish this video up. All right, so we are looking at the city or state that generates the highest operating profit. All right, so this is something that we've done over and over and over again, and at this point, I'm beginning to believe that now it's easy, and it should be something that we can, you know, easily do without even me having to do this. All right. So again, it's asking us to find the state that generates the highest operating profit. Now we've done this for the city. I believe we've done for the products as well. I'm not quite sure, but we've been looking at the top one since we began this. All right, how to find top one, top one, top one. All right, so now I just want us to shift it a little bit. So instead of which city, which city generates the highest operating profit, let's say which city generates the lowest, or is it least operating profit, operating profit. All right, so let's just turn it upside down. All right, just for good measure as we are ending this project. All right, and so similarly, it's still going to be select. Now there's where a lot of people sometimes get it wrong. It's not going to be select bottom and select bottom one. There's nothing like bottom one in SQL. All right, so there's nothing like bottom one, so it's still going to be select top one. All right, still going to be select top one. All right, and we are looking at the state. Okay, looking at the state, so select top one state. We are looking at operating profit. All right, so we are looking at the sum operating profit. So sum this hand or this whatever it is, operating profit, right? This is it, operating profit from spot, like so. Don't forget to group by. All right, there's a column in there that is state, so you need to group by state. And now we are looking for the state with the least operating profit. All right, the least operating profit, so you can't just leave it like so. All right, so you need to go in and then order by. All right, and so we are going to use the order by clause, and we are going to order by the sum operating profit. All right, because we haven't given it an alias, we are going to use all of this. All right, operating profit, and in view of this, we are simply going to see AAC, or we are going to leave it like as it is. All right, and this is going to rank them from the least to the highest, and since we are looking at just the top one, it's going to return just the least total operating profit by state. Okay, and so to select this and execute this, we are going to see Nebraska. All right, and this is simply telling us that Nebraska is the state contributing the least amount of money. Now, just to for good measure, let's just say top 6. All right, So let's say top 6, just so you can see. Right. So top 6, and then you are seeing Nebraska comes in the first place. All right. This is ASC. So from the bottom all the way to the highest. All right. So the top, the bottom 6 state with the least operating profit contributing to this business. All right. That's what we are looking at. All right. And it says that Nebraska is the least. All right. And we can see that that is contributing just about 24,000. And then Iowa with 26,000. Then Minnesota also with 26 by 700. All right, 267. This is 265. And then we have North Dakota with 268. Maryland with 275. And then Wisconsin with 280. All right, so you can see that the top one, all right, being Nebraska, is actually correct and true. Okay, like so. All right. And so yes, this brings us to the end of today's video. I do hope you found this video helpful. Like I said, if you did, don't forget to hit the like button. All right, and leave any comment or anything you'd like to me to hit on or talk about, help you, assist you with. All right, in the comment section down below. Excuse me, and I'll be sure to look at it and get back to you accordingly. Don't also forget to hit the subscribe button so you can join the Nakama, like I always said, so that when I upload a new video, you'll be among the first to be notified. And hey, like I always tell you guys, do be sure to take care of yourself, and I'll be sure to catch you in the next one. See ya.